I think this AFC Championship game, and especially being in Denver, I've played in Denver and it sucks. Like it's not a great place to play.
No, you did. You turned out pretty good.
Should we tell everybody? Do you remember in London the first time I ever said anything to you? Like my first
time.
Were you playing in London? The Rams.
What'd you say? I remember y'all dusted us. Like
I know. I was running past you. It was right at halftime. I said WD. WD. I kind of look at him and he looks at me. I give him like a, he's like, we're good. So we hit each other like, dude, soft. And Bill's standing right there. He blows the whistle. He goes, pillow fight.
Joining me now to discuss championship weekend. He's one of the smartest people I know. One of the best football players I ever played with. He's got a great beard. He's a Patriots legend. His name's Rob Ninkovich. What's up, bro?
What up, GLP? Are you going to be on the GLP? I was like, dude, I'm not on a GLP-1. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what's up with that, bro? We had it first.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you guys should be getting some kickbacks on that.
That GLP-1, have you seen any of like our old teammates on it? Well, you don't have to dox them.
Yeah, it's crazy because they're like, they look, I don't know, it's weird. Like when you lose that much weight in your face, it's like, all the celebrities right now on it, they look kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy that the fat offensive linemen are getting themselves healthy and they can live longer. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I'm kind of still like 260 fattish. You're like, I was never like a chiseled 260. You know that. You see me in the shower. So I'm just content with that. Like I'm content
when
with just
did I see a chiseled too? When were you ever a chiseled? I mean, we don't need to get into this.
I was like a professional plumber, like my body type. So like I never was like jacked, but I was just like I had big belly arms, like the big old arms.
Could be in the could be a union guy, could be in the NFL.
Exactly. Big hands, could be wrenching on something, but happen to just hit people for a living. It worked out.
But obviously we crossed over in 16 in New England, and for the people at home, like that's how me and Rob, if you didn't know each other real well. And then I just figure Rob has the most conference championship weekend stories because he's been in how many of them?
6, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 6 out of 8.
Brain's still working pretty well.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I've lost some of those. No, 6. I was in 6.
Okay, 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
So I lost a divisional to the Ravens, the Jets 1 year. We didn't get 2 years we didn't make it. 6, yeah, because I was here 8.
Like, what's different about it to you? Because when I got to New England, I didn't know anything about the playoffs. So you've been there over and over again. You kind of see the patterns. You see like this changes in the divisional round, or this changes. Is all that overblown, or what changes the most as you get deeper into the playoffs?
I think the fine line of mistakes that you can make and get away with it, I think that really becomes a big factor in winning and losing. We all know every play is important, but you can kind of make up depending on the team that you're playing if they're subpar, the talent level on the team. I mean, even this national championship, you look at IU. If they didn't block that punt and they don't score there, like basically that's the game, right? So it comes down to like a handful of plays when the game becomes that close. And I've been a part of games where we made those plays and the ones that we didn't make, we lost. And it sucks because I think back like literally 10 years ago to the day, it's almost like a repeat of the Patriots going to Denver for the AFC Championship game when they had Payton. And in that game, like it came down to basically like a missed PAT. And I love Steven Gostkowski. He's the best. He leads the Patriots in points scored. But just one little thing that early in the game just seems routine turns into a big deal. And that's just the way it seems to work out every round that you advance. Your first round, yes, it's the playoffs. Things are a little faster. Obviously, we know it's a little more physical. You feel it. You feel the physicality in that. Similar to like the preseason game to a regular season game.
Yeah.
It just gets a little faster, and then your margin for error is so finite and so small that it could be one turnover. You think about the Texans, right? C.J. Stroud looked absolutely terrible. If he doesn't throw that ball into a team meeting and throw a pick six, I mean, that could have changed the whole outcome of the game.
Yeah,
Um,
or if they pick up that fumble
and they score, scoop and
back
score.
up,
Yes,
where Danielle Hunter kind of, he tries to scoop it and
scoop
score.
it. Yeah, and those are the plays that when you rewatch the film, and if you're the Texans, you're probably puking because defensively they created a lot of turnovers. They created a lot of pressure. I mean, if you can force, what was it, two or three forced fumbles on the quarterback,
Yeah.
usually with that you win. But on the flip side of it, their offense just gave that many back, and they weren't able to overcome that. So I think this AFC Championship game, and especially being in Denver, I've played in Denver and it sucks. Like it's not a great place to play, and you could do the whole like tough guy thing of, hey, just forget about the altitude. It's not a big deal. But I was talking about this on the Dan and Ninko show, and you can tell a lot about how you feel just in warmups. And Chris, you've probably felt this. You're going through pregame warmups and you just feel good. Like you just feel like you're not heavy, your legs feel good, you're not really winded,
Hmm.
you're just in a good place. And then when you go into the game, like you're so much better mentally for just feeling great. When you're in Denver, some guys, for me, I would, and everyone out there listening, the straps on your shoulder pads, however tight, usually have the same amount of clicks on. Like everyone has a different. I would always go to number 6 on my
Yeah, I'll
straps.
go 6.
Yeah, 6.
That's
And when
funny.
I
I
would,
hadn't thought about that in years,
yeah, I
but I
would.
remember.
You remember how many clicks you go, and then like that's your comfort zone, and you feel good,
Yeah.
and that's how you wear your pads. And it's almost like we were probably pretty crazy about everything, but when you're in Denver and you're going through warmups, you feel heavier. You're like, man, I just feel heavy. My legs feel kind of sluggish. I got to take this 6 and go to a 4 because I feel like I'm not like getting enough air right now. For some crazy
Hmm.
reason, I feel a little more winded than when I do any other game that's not at altitude. So that could play a factor in like the fourth quarter when that really takes its toll on you're just feeling a little heavy. You got
Yeah.
a 6 hour flight. Your time change is a couple hours off.
Yeah.
Yes, you're playing at the same time, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock here, but you go home. When you're at home and you go to bed at 10 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock there. So you're like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm staying up a couple hours later because it doesn't feel right to be sleeping at 8 o'clock here, right? So it's just like a whole
Yeah, you're all
plethora.
fucked up, and then you're like, "Well, do I go back to bed all day to try to
Yeah,
rest? Like, am I too tired?" And you kind of get sluggish.
yeah,
I also they have a day of rest on New England,
yes,
and
yeah,
that generally is something that that teams. Here we go. I found this is a gambling nugget.
nice.
Um, well, this actually doesn't. It's kind of the two colliding trends where teams coming off an overtime game, they suck the next week, but teams with a rest advantage generally play well in the playoffs. And you have both those instances with Denver this week. I kind of wonder, Rob, if you know, how coordinators save like wrinkles for these situations,
Yeah, of
and I'm sure
course.
Josh will have some wrinkles. But like Sean Payton, he's got a whole damn bag, and you've played for Sean before. Some people forget you were there in New Orleans, but I wonder if tempo is something in his bag this game that he says like, hey, we're going to take advantage of the altitude of my confidence in the backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham, who's been here 3 years, right, and probably has run tempo a number of times for them in real game situations in preseason and in
Hmm.
practices. You think that's something you could see in a game like this?
I could see Sean coming up with a nice script to help out Stidham a little bit, gain confidence early in the first 10 to 15 plays. not ask too much of them. They do have the advantage with the offensive line. The
Yeah.
Patriots, they've, in the playoffs alone, they played the Chargers that were the 32nd ranked pass protecting offensive line. So, that's terrible. You're going against turnstiles. And then you go against a Texans team where the quarterback looked like he lost his confidence, and they didn't have the largest human being I've ever gone against in Trent Brown out there at tackle.
He's
So,
huge. You remember that? Do you remember when we went to San Francisco in 2016 and you and I were like, dude, we were running off the field like,
yeah,
holy
good
shit. How do you set an edge on him?
good luck, throw an anchor out there. But no, I mean, so they're going into a situation where the Patriots defensive front is playing a substantially better offensive line, and Sean Payton is going to understand, like, listen, if we can dictate up front how we run the ball, controlling the ball, the time of possession, let's keep the Patriots offense off the field. Let's have longer drives. We have a quarterback in here that hasn't started a game in 3 years or played a game in 3 years, like a real game. Like, let's keep the passes short. Let's keep them to the open. Like, hey, you got 1, 2. If it's not there, check down. And the Patriots, the last 2 weeks, they've brought a little more pressure. So if they're trying to pressure, it's a double-edged sword with pressure. If you're going
Yeah.
against a quarterback that isn't a check with me guy, that when the play's called, that's what's going to be run, you want to dial up the pressure because okay, listen, this guy's not going to check to the right play versus if you're playing a Peyton Manning type or
Tom
a
Brady.
Drew Brees type. And, Sean being with Drew Brees for so long, they had such a good chemistry on just the understanding of, hey, if they show this, we're alerting that, and we're going to a different option. And Stidham, there's a lot of disrespect, and this is one thing I said on Wednesday. You can't completely disrespect the guy. Number one, he went into a situation where Russell Wilson was making $60 million. The highest paid player on the Broncos is Russell Wilson, making $32 million in 2025. So
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't a competition because we all know at the end of the day, dollars and cents, like that was going to be the guy that was starting. The second that Sean could get him out of there, they took a big hit, cap hit. He was gone. They still paid him. They went and draft Bo Nix, but Stidham was able to stay on that roster because of in between the ears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you can come in, and we've seen it year in and year out, the new coach comes in, they clear house with anybody that they think isn't going to be with the program. I mean, look at Vrabel, what he did this year in the offseason. Like, basically everybody that was there was gone. All the captains were replaced. Everyone was gone. All the coaches that were even expatriate players that were under contract were let go because you want to bring in your own people. So for Sean to come into Denver and keep Stidham, having a young quarterback speaks volumes on what he thinks about Stidham. You have a veteran backup quarterback who's played for Josh McDaniels, who is smart and understands, like, where do we need to take this offense to win just this game. And that's really like the difference between a regular season game and a playoff game. Throw everything out in the regular season on how they ran on, if it's 3rd and 2, if they're in the low red zone, this is their tendencies. Now you kind of have to think to yourself, are they going to be different because they have Stidham in here? He's not really a mobile guy. Bo Nix, he's good, but I don't think Bo Nix was, like, by any means great in certain aspects. You're like, what's he doing here? Yes, he can scramble and kind of extend plays and get out of the pocket. Stidham he's not that guy. So he's going to be in the pocket. They're probably going to have some check with me's, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went no huddle to get the Patriot defense tired.
Yeah, I feel like you're early in the game. And first off, I'll say this. Stidham, to me, I went back and looked at I remember when he played, and I guess it would be Vegas, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought, hey, guy's not bad.
No.
He's not. He's a 4th-round pick. He's not an untalented player. And you going back and watching him play in a pretty meaningless game against Denver or against the Chargers a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like, he can rip an in cut. Like, he can work the short areas of the field. Like, he can run a little bit. I think they'll take advantage of his legs. I think early in the game, the only thing you can't do is turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
You have to control the clock, control possessions. But I do think there will be at some point in this game where they kind of dust that either tempo or kind of that muddle huddle thing off and run it a little bit and check these guys' chins. I don't know, man. I look at this game and say, fuck, dude. Sean Payton has been there. He's absolutely been there. And he's got a guy that I think people are underestimating. You can hear like the Broncos guys in the locker room this week when we're here from beat reporters that are like, they're fucking using this to their advantage. They're already playing the underdog thing. It
Yeah.
is such a powerful card to play, like the nobody's giving us a chance thing. And it's win or go home. It's not like this happened in the wild card round
Yeah.
when you'd be like, man, we'd have to fucking win 3 more games after this. Hey, it's
And
one game, and then
yep.
anything can happen. So I do feel like Denver. I'm going to give out Denver on the gambling show. I think we were looking at props. Him and Lil Jordan Humphrey have a really good connection. We'll see if
Mm-hmm.
that comes to fruition. I think they've worked together a lot. But yeah, I see a lot of RPOs and screens from Denver, man. One of the things we talked about on this show this year was Denver wasn't doing a great job blocking on the perimeter.
Yep.
And they were giving up a lot of plays for no gain, that sort of thing. They got to be on the ball when it comes to that stuff this game. And then obviously the biggest matchup, and I was going to ask you about this, was Will Campbell against Benito and the offensive line for the Patriots, because I thought last week, and I think Will Campbell's going to be a very good pro, man.
Yep.
And he already is a good player, and you see him all the time, I'm sure. But Benito at home is going to be another level.
And they have the advantage of the crowd and the cadence. And, when I think about just Will Campbell and a baseball slump, you see some of these baseball players, they're awesome, they're great, but then they start thinking like, well, why am I in this, like, what's going on right now? Then they start thinking
Yeah.
about it and then they dwell on it, but the only way to get through it is more at bats. And I think right now, if you watch the last couple weeks, when I was preparing for an offensive lineman or a tackle, especially, I would watch the film on the guy and I would break down, frame by frame, just the get off, his outside foot, his kicks, like how he likes to kick slide, how he likes to move his feet, and then his hand placement. When I'm watching Campbell right now, especially last week against the Texans, he was really turning his hips like fast, like out of the gate. He was almost at like a 90-degree to the line of scrimmage, which you're almost like helping the defender as you get into the tackle. You start to turn and you're trying to ride him by, but the second he gets hip to hip with you, you're almost pushing him into the quarterback.
Yeah.
So he was turning a little too fast, and then in his hands, he's a low hand guy. He's not a double punch guy.
Right.
So, as a shorter arm tackle, a lot of those guys, they can't just double punch you because they're not even gonna get to you, right? So they
Right.
have to keep their hands in tight. They have to let you get to him, and then he tries to underhook you and use his athletic ability to stay in front. But I think some of these pass rushers are realizing if you can get that inside hand to his inside chest plate and really get into him quickly, he's a hard time getting to you and pulling you into him to hold on to you. So if I was rushing against him right now, the first thing I'm doing is trying to sit him down with power, so where he has to respect the power. He's a narrow base guy because he's so athletic. So some of these guys, you look at Moses on the other, some of these bigger tackles that are like 6'8", 6'9", really long legs. They like to be super wide in their kick slides, and they like to be really big. But Campbell plays narrow. He's kind of like a guard at tackle, right?
Yeah.
He's narrow
He's got a
footed.
little bit of a guard build.
Yes, yes. So he tries to stay in front of you, and a perfect example of this was the Ravens. I think it was the Billy Cundiff year where they missed the field goal that would have put them into the Super Bowl. He misses. We go on to win. But that year, Marshall Yonda was obviously the guard. He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Was that the game where he played tackle?
He played tackle.
Bro, I remember us talking about that. When guards move out to tackle, It is so
It
unorthodox.
it
It's
it
almost like, yeah, give me the starter by
it,
far.
it screwed me up. Like I was, because I'd watched him on tape, and I'm like, okay, he's got good feet. He can stay with you. He's not very tall, so he's probably around 6'3", which you're used to going against guys that are super long and super tall. They got long arms, they got long legs. So you almost use that to your advantage. You like get underneath them and try to stay low and use your lean and your dip ability. But Yonda, like he would jump set the line of scrimmage on me. So he'd get out to me quick. And then he had the footwork to where he could stay with you. And some of the big
Mhm.
guys, you want them to use their weight and try and come and get you. That's when you can get around them. So,
Yeah.
Campbell right now, I think he should use more of his athletic ability, start jump setting guys. But as you know, Chris, you jump set somebody and you lose on an inside move, like
It happens fast.
it's clean sailing to the quarterback. So,
Yeah.
he's got to try and forget the last couple weeks. I know the media's on him and asking him questions. How can they help you? And he even said this week that it doesn't make sense that some of my worst reps are with help. But as a pass rusher, that works to our advantage sometimes
Yeah, it
perfectly.
can.
So they chip you on an inside move. So if a tackle doesn't realize, hey, I'm getting help, or he knows he's getting help, sometimes they're a little lazy in their set.
Yeah.
And when you get chipped, or you chip the chipper, you can make an inside move or run a game off of it and use that chip to get inside and pick the guard and get all this disruption that, as a tackle, I know firsthand, like, listen, you got to be on the same page with your help. And if you're
Yeah.
not, then you're screwed. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about this, because right now he's looking like the guy that needs a lot of help. Moses has
Yeah.
been doing really well on the edge, and he's in the last 2 weeks he's probably given up 6 or 7 quarterback hits, with like 4 fumbles.
And that leads me to the next thing, which is Drake Maye, and I think he is absolutely what people say he is. And I love the dude. We sat down with him last year at the Super Bowl and just blew us away with how down to earth he was and kind of mature,
Yeah.
wise beyond his years. And the one thing though I have noticed in the playoffs, and I'm not alone, is that taking care of the football has been a bit of a weakness, relatively speaking, in two
Yep.
weeks. Part of it was the weather last week, and part of it is just unavoidable, a strip sack here or there from the blind side. But, at the same time, the internal clock that needs to go off,
Hmm.
saw that show up late in the LA game, showed up last week. And then I think an interesting one is running the offense on the road in a
Yeah.
in a in a tough environment. Josh is going to be his best friend in that regard. He's been there. You guys had to go on the road and play in the playoffs and that sort of thing. So he's been there, done that. But like, this is going to be the toughest road test of his lifetime.
Yep.
And like it's his young career. So obviously that's implied. But I don't know. You look at some of the tough road atmospheres that they have or haven't played in this year. I don't buy into hey, they haven't played anybody, so they're not good. I think they can win the whole fucking thing. But this is a different deal going on the road against a great defense in
Yep.
a big spot. And so procedural things. You got two young players on the left side of the line. You have receivers who haven't been there before. I look for that stuff as well.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, we know at the end of the day, when you could get a jump on a cadence and your crowd is into it, you being with St. Louis and you had that dome, environment where it
Yeah.
was super loud, and you could probably count on, both hands some of the sacks you were able to get just off a good jump.
Yeah.
And I think back to 2015 when we lost AFC Championship there was a play. I think it was Elvis Dumerville, like literally jumped the snap. Like the tackle was still in his stance. Tom got absolutely destroyed, depleted. And, that was when you take hits like that, no matter what you just say about it, like, yeah, yeah, it juices me up when I get hit like that. Like, no, it's a whole team and stadium energizer. Everyone goes nuts. And, the Chargers game, especially, like Drake took a few big shots, and as a quarterback, we all know you're one shot away from not being able to throw the ball as accurately
Yeah.
or the way you want to throw it. Um, and this Denver defense, they're fast. They have some fast dudes. They're Their linebackers are like 225. They can all run. Their secondary is fast. Their edge guys are really good at getting on the edge. Now, if I was in Denver, I would say just don't give up the cheap first downs with Drake Maye.
Yeah.
Don't just run past the quarterback and let him step up in the pocket and run for 15 yards. Like those are the easiest, cheapest plays that you can give up. So make them earn those, make them earn it. And I'd rather see him bail out of the back of the pocket than step up in the pocket and get out.
Right.
I want to have both of my ends. Remember the lizard stuff? We were doing the chase stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want him to get out of the back of the pocket, have my backside ends chasing him down because they do have the speed on the ends to
Both
get
of
to
them.
him.
Yeah.
Both of them are fast enough to create some havoc. So the worst thing, and being with Bill for 8 years and you being with him for that 1 year, it was like the worst place you can be is behind the quarterback. Well, it's true.
Dog, it's so funny. I remember winning a rush in preseason on the edge, and Matty P was like, "We don't do that here." I was like, "Wait, we don't, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
win
yeah.
on the edge." And so, yeah, I mean, but this is a group that they kind of major in top down rushes, and they got the great get off and the whole thing. And those guys inside are fucking demons. So,
Yep.
and another thing is two great corners in this game,
Yep.
two big corners that can take away the other team's number one. I'm kind of curious how Josh works around that. But yeah, I mean, didn't Bill used to do the thing where he'd double he'd put the he'd double the best player and put the best corner on the number two?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do a lot of different things, but dependent on
Look at you, Ian. You're still like
I mean, uh,
you still doing it.
they,
We're
they,
still we
they,
do a lot
they,
of things. Flashback. He had a flashback.
they. Okay. So I think it also comes down to body types too. So if you have a tall corner, I'm just thinking back to when we had like Brandon Browner, who is a really big, tall
Yeah,
safety type, big body guy corner that can
yeah,
play all the positions. You would say, all right, well, let's take away the biggest, tallest guy. We'll put him on there and lock him down. So we don't have to worry
yeah.
about him. So the one thing that I would say that the Patriots they've done a lot of, which I'm not a huge fan of zone concepts in like these gotta have it or these like you play a good receiver, they're gonna eat you up in zone. And when you're in man, on the flip side of that, your backs are turned to the quarterback, so you rely on your front to really take care of that pass rush lane, quarterback getting out.
Right.
So the Patriots sometimes their front, like, and I thought this was a problem all year, and that's why I said they should probably have traded for a specific pass rusher that can take two, or hey, coming in this game plan, like their most dangerous pass rusher is an interior guy. Like their outside guy. I don't think Landry's playing in this game. It came out today; he's not playing.
That's a big
So
loss.
it's
The
a
other
big.
guy, Chazon's done a good job of running people down. He's fast.
He's a fast guy, but I
Yeah.
try to be physical with him. I try to get after. He's only about 230,
Well, that's what
240.
they're gonna do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna do. No
Um,
question.
so I'm thinking like, you got to be alert for some of the crack toss stuff. You got to be alert for the outside. Right? If they do have a hard time getting those edge blocks, then you got to create the edge with kind of different formations, motion. And Sean has seen every single defense known to man and game planned against every defense you could ever imagine. The fast ones, the smart ones. I think it's going to be a difficult game and not a walk in the park. Like if you turn on any radio station here in Boston, they're basically just giving them a win because they're playing against a backup quarterback. I'm more of a realist in this. Yeah, I mean, listen, you played on a Super Bowl winning team with a backup quarterback. It was a
Yeah.
different week that your starter went down, but if you were to say coming into that Super Bowl that Nick Foles was going to throw for 373 yards or whatever it was, over 350, and play the way that he played, people would have probably been like, "No way," you know.
And you know why he was able to, Rob? It was because they didn't have their WDEs anymore.
That's right. They didn't have it.
It was a pass rush thing, bro. It
I
was. I
know.
mean, like, James Harrison was pretty good at that stage especially for his age and everything. But outside of him, they had a hard time getting rush
Yeah.
on Foles. And, obviously you had the RPOs going and everything. But I just thought, like coming into the game, the reason we felt good about it was because we knew the front could block
Yeah.
the New
Yeah.
England front.
Yeah.
and Rob wasn't on that team. But yeah, it was one of those things, and that's why you look at like pass rush so far in the playoffs, the way it's affected quarterbacks, and some of these quarterbacks have gotten away with putting the ball on the ground, but all but like one quarterback in the divisional round either coughed up the cookies or threw the ball into harm's way a bunch.
Yeah.
And that guy was Sam Darnold, and we'll talk about him in a second. But
Yep.
last question on this game, because you alluded to it, like dudes in New England probably for good reason. New England's a great fucking team. They feel real confident about winning this game against a backup quarterback.
Yep.
I actually think the Broncos. I'm gonna give out the Broncos on the gambling show. I feel emphatic about this thing. But my thing is, have you ever in a playoff game been really just shocked at the outcome? Like, what were the most shocked? You know, we have a good idea of things going in the games. People talk about handicapping games and trying to figure out what's going to happen as media members or whatever. It's fucking hard to pick games.
Yeah.
When you're on a team, sometimes you don't even know really what's going to happen when you go into the game. Were you ever shocked, or what was the most shocked you ever were sitting on the sideline?
I mean, our 28-3 comeback, we were pretty shocked.
Brother,
I
thought we had them. I thought we had them dead to rights, bro.
Me and you were
I didn't
looking
know
at each
shit
other
about
like,
anything.
this sucks, man. Like, what are we here for? Like, come on, let's go off. I'm right off into the sunset after this one. I'm never playing football again. We're getting toasted. But I think, in some of those losses at Denver in 2015, they came out like fast. And
Yeah.
kind of like what you talked about. They were on the ball. Next play, you weren't even thinking like, whoa, what just happened here? They were just going.
Yeah.
I think back to 2009, we played the Ravens. Ray Rice, the first play of the game, hits his head on the goalpost, like 80-yard touchdown, and that was like the domino effect of we're behind on this one, like the whole time. We just couldn't get back, and we just didn't have the mojo. And unfortunately, you see this every single year. Sometimes the best teams don't win.
Right.
If you were to tell me that the Texans with that defense wouldn't have come out with a win, I would have been like, like, I don't know, man. They're really good at getting to the quarterback, and we all know at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it doesn't matter if it's Tom Brady. I'm thinking back to like 2011 when we lost to the Giants. We lost to the Giants because they had a front four that could put their hand on the ground and get to the quarterback without having any blitzers. So,
Right.
I mean, I think Chase Blackburn had an interception like 40 yards down the field. The guy had the cowboy collar on, and he was like 260, right? Like, just crazy stuff.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Chase
Steve
Blackburn.
Weatherford was like pinning us inside the 5 on like 6 punts. You're like, dude, what's going on? So
Did you know? So Steve Weatherford is like a bodybuilder now. You know that?
I thought he was like a priest or something.
He might be both. He might be both.
I think he's a
There's nothing wrong with
bodybuilding
being both.
baptizer. He's a bodybuilding guy that baptizes people. Which
We
is
need
great.
more. We need more like that, because I've been seeing more videos lately of priests dropping babies. We need strong priests,
We
dude.
need strong priests in the baptism. Like, you can't be, my dad says when I was, and for my baptism, the guy drowned me. So maybe that's some of the reasons why I have the, he just kept pouring water. He was like waterboarding me. My mom literally like pulled me away from him because he kept like putting the water up my nose. I'm going crazy. Maybe that's why
This is real?
Maybe that's why I'm a little tapped.
Is this real?
Oh, it's real. My mom was pulling me away from the priest because he was like overdoing
You
the
could
water.
sue the church.
I'm telling you. Hey,
It's not too late. He's still exhibiting
Holy
signs
Ghost
of having been
Church in
waterboarded.
South Holland waterboarded me at a young age.
Okay.
And then my dad would, Mr. Captain Insano used to take the air away from me as well. He'd tell me to suck the sweet air, grab my face. I couldn't breathe, freak out. And then he'd let it go. And then he'd say, suck that air, you're alive now. And I'm like,
Dog, we have a group chat called Suck That Sweet Air.
Yeah, my dad used to do a lot of weird shit, man. Pain treatments, like cranium shakes, and he would suffocation.
Not really, though.
I mean, until you squirm.
Golly, dude, we can't be talking about child abuse on here.
It was me. Look at me. I turned out great. Look at.
No, you did. You turned out pretty good.
Should we tell everybody? Do you remember in London the first time I ever said anything to you? Like my first
time.
Were you playing in London? The Rams.
What'd you say? I remember y'all dusted us. Like
I know.
44
I was running past you. It was right at halftime. I said WD.
WD.
And then
I said I know this guy.
And then when they signed Chris to the Patriots, at the time, I mean, I have a Twitter, but I haven't looked at it in years. But you could probably go in the DMs of Twitter right now and look at like me DMing you, like, "What's up, dude? Like, excited for you to come here." In the back of my
What a
head, thinking
fucking
this guy's taking me off the field on third down. God damn it!
no, dude. They didn't trust me to be Rob Ninkovich on early downs.
No,
They thought I would run
they put.
side. They thought I would run the wrong way. There was a
They,
time when Matt Patricia, we were playing the Jets,
oh, you had a
and
sack fumble. You ended that game though.
well, yeah, but also prior to that, just to show I'm not selfish,
Mm,
they call a 3-man rush, fucking like all the time.
you're on the
And I
nose.
said, "You like a 3-man rush? I'm gonna drop. It's gonna be a 2-man rush."
Yeah.
I still talk to Matty P about that. He's like, "I've never seen it in my life in football." I texted him this year. I was like, "Man, when he was at Ohio State, man, you should run that 2-man rush.
Yeah.
They won't know it hit him."
Well, you
But
should
yeah, no,
have one of your good pass rushers in coverage every freaking third down. It's
yeah,
awesome too. Control
it's
the
awesome.
sacks. Control the sacks. Control the money. I guess.
At least you didn't have to kick into a 3 technique on first and second down. That's where they put me on first and second down.
2-eye in the running game is fun. You know, just
That's sick. That's a lot of fun.
taking on
All right.
doubles.
So speaking of the run game, let's put this rockhead in a 3 tech. And I asked Matty P too. I was like, "Hey man, did you know I was bad on the right side? Like I couldn't rush on the right side." And he was like, "Yeah, we knew." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "You just, that left end position, it takes a lot of experience in our defense, left outside linebacker position. Like if you'd have stuck around a year, you'd have been a left outside linebacker."
Yeah, you would have.
Like,
because my ass hit the peace sign on him.
you did hit the peace sign.
See you later.
If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT and you will get up to a $1,500 new player offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Just download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Then get access to second chance promos, odds boost tokens, same game parlays, and so much more throughout the entire football playoffs. BetMGM, make it legendary. Y'all know I'm a bit more selective with my nicotine pouches these days. For me, the quality of the pouch is what I prioritize, which is why I'll pop in a Zone Wintergreen. 6 milligrams, all I need. Whether I'm kicking back and watching ball on a Sunday, floating the river with Cowboy, can't wait to do that, and the rest of the Green Light crew, or breaking down film ahead of a show, Zone easily gets me locked in. With its smooth feel and a variety of flavors, Zone is always on our game day roster. Whether you like fresh, mint flavor, or you're into a citrus flavor, check out their roster of options. Use promo code GL20 at nicokick.com/zone for 20% off at checkout. So we've got Rams heading to Seattle. Do you remember the game? Speaking of do you remember the game that Brady got in Sherman and got in each other's faces after the game? Like that was Seattle in 2014 or something?
Yeah. I do.
Or no, earlier than that.
We were in Seattle. I got knocked out in that game by
well, never mind. You don't remember.
That game in particular. Do you remember Michael Robinson, the fullback?
Fuck yeah, dude.
So he was a quarterback at Penn State. And when I was at Purdue, I played against him. Obviously, we played Penn State. And that dude was so strong and so big. And we're in Seattle. That was a close battle. Came down to the end. And I was on punt team, which I was on punt team my whole freaking career. It's awesome. Yeah, smart. But he got me on the sideline. And I stayed on the field. And I was like off the ball linebacker looking around. And everyone's yelling at me. And I was supposed to be the left end. So Russell Wilson just takes the snap and runs to the right where the end's supposed to be, runs for 5 yards. And Bill's like, "Get him out of here." I
heard that once.
I was playing linebacker, looking around. Everyone's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I got the seam. What are you talking about? I'm good. I'm playing Sam." They're like, "Dude, you're not the Sam. We're in base. You're the left end." And that was all because of Michael Robinson. But I think that was the game.
It was because of a little towel.
It was from somebody. They can't even do those plays. They can't even blindside you anymore, which is crazy to think. If we were playing in the NFL right now, you'd have 16 padded practices a season, which
right.
Our early days in training camp, we had 16 padded practices in a week, which is crazy to think about, like 2-a-days.
Oh yeah, before the CBA.
Yeah, crazy. They have no half line. They have no one-on-one like run blocking. They have no like nothing like that. We remember we do like the 5-yard apart tackling drill. You would just be like,
Dude, I remember, yeah, and like Jeff Fisher had some rough camps, like low key. Everybody loved him because he was so fucking cool and he was like a teammate, you know, almost.
yeah.
Former player, the whole thing. But it was still hard. And I got New England expecting like the worst thing ever. It really isn't the worst camp ever, but
Yeah.
like there are certain things about it that are annoying.
Annoying.
You know, like, and that drill would be one where it's like, all right, you might separate your shoulder and it just might fuck up camp for like 2 weeks for you because you need to tackle Pat Devlin at the goal line.
It's like,
you know, like as if you're like an off the ball linebacker. And I totally get the function of the drill, but it was funny, man. I remember me and Marty made like a little truce.
Yep.
And we kept, and we were supposed to like, he was supposed to follow through with the other side or something, but it ended up backfiring because Devlin waddled up to the front with his fucking, with his cowboy collar.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, damn, dude.
Smelling salt. Ah, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Blunt, because it's normal for anybody that plays football in those situations where you're going against somebody and there's two lines. You do it in pass rush, you do it in tackling drill, you do it in one-on-one coverage, you count. Like, okay, I'm like the third guy, or let me see, what's the third guy? 1, 2, shit. That's Blunt. I don't want to go one-on-one tackling 10 yards apart with that guy. He's 260 pounds. So I kind of look at him and he looks at me. I give him like a, he's like, we're good. So we hit each other like, dude, soft. And Bill's standing right there. He blows the whistle. He goes, fucking pillow fight, like, and dude, I'm like, I don't need this right now. I'm 31 years old.
Dude, I'm a little old for this.
I don't need this. And then you got your young guys coming in just bong, and they're like, hey, like, I'm ready for practice. And it's like, no, we don't need that at this point. And
the Geno Grissom's of the world, the young.
At the end of the day, too, like as a defensive end, outside linebacker, you're not really making any of those hits. It's always like to the side, and the ball's coming in.
It's in the flat, or the tackle that used to drive me crazy was the one directly from the side on the back side of a cutback run.
Yeah,
because you're at the mercy of the 3 technique or whoever it is to show up and get him to slow the fuck down. It's hard to hit that moving target.
I know.
But yeah, you rarely ever. I would rather honestly have the face up tackle.
And then Chris would always have these. The way Chris would run, it would almost like he had these boots on, and them things are just.
I told you called me concrete boots, man. I was older at that point,
No, but it was.
That's why I was in there at 3 technique.
It was the leg drive. You would get going on the leg drive, man.
Yeah.
But
it was hard, man. It was hard at the end because we were doing 28,000 squats a day on Monday.
Yeah. Hey, you got 5 sets of 375 on Monday. I'm like, what? 5 sets of 5? Oh,
that helps. It is December.
Yeah,
I'm not getting any really stronger. Bad. All right, so here we go. Let's do the damn Rams and Seahawks.
Okay.
You know what's interesting about this game is the Rams really haven't been right lately, and I keep thinking, ironically, about the Belichick quote. Well, it's not, he didn't make it up, but he says it all the time. It's not who you play, but it's when you play them. And the Rams haven't been playing well since, honestly, the first time these teams got together. And, I wonder if the Rams get right, ironically, against the Seahawks, there is that possibility. But I just think Seattle's they're hot right now, dude, and they're playing at home, and that's a miserable place to play.
Tough place.
I think it comes down to, for me, the run game with Kenneth Walker.
100%.
And I think it's because that's your security blanket. Like, I trust Sam. Do I trust him to like if Sam was a babysitter, you'd let him come to the house and watch the monitor and play with the kids maybe and that sort of thing. But like, is it like, do you trust Sam enough to like have to drive your kids to practice or take them to the movies? Or no, I kind of just trust him to do. And I think that's where they are. And that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not an indictment on him I think he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
But Shula has owned him in these matchups for 11 of 12 quarters. So I think realistically, it's about the run game. And with Kenneth Walker, the thing that I see is if we were preparing for him, Ninko, it would
Hmm.
be he's never not bouncing the ball.
Yeah.
You always have to show color. And that's not just for the edge players. By that, I mean show color, be outside on the edge of the defense,
Yep.
but for the support players mostly. And I think like in earlier matchups, you had Witherspoon, who was a big corner for them.
Hmm.
He's down now. You got guys like Forbes and Durant out there. Those guys are going to have to tackle, and they have to have good eyes, right? Because it's looking at the mesh, it's diagnosing it's not boot, and then it's the play action off of that. But above all else, you can't get pulled in
Yeah.
and have an explosive run bounce out the outside.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm picking Seattle, just based on being at home. Um, they also know the team really well, and you know this firsthand. When you play somebody a lot, sometimes it's like, okay, you know exactly how this is going to play out. So if you're Seattle, um, you're making sure that you don't turn it into a gunfight and just a sling fest of just trying to outduel each other in a quarterback, because
Right.
at that point the Rams with Stafford, in that same scenario of babysitting, I feel like if there was a house fire, Matt Stafford's the guy that's gonna put everybody on his back and walk through the flames to get everyone out safely. And he's one of them
He
players
might
that,
throw a kid into the burning flames by accident, though, the way he's played lately a little bit.
well, you know what? He's got that. This is almost over. Like, I'm close to the end. So whatever I
Yes.
got to do, I'm going to do it. So if I got to use you to get through this thing, I'm going to use you. And
Human shield. I'm Matt Stafford. Dude, the ball he threw last week, the out route to Devontae Adams at the end of the game was like the audacity of a throw like that. But he also just kind of early out of the half and early in the game threw the ball right to people. And he
yeah,
hasn't been grabbing. You look at him on the road in Atlanta with the seed on the line and everything, and you're throwing picks like, and I'm a huge Stafford fan, but I don't
yeah,
think
me too.
anything's for sure with quarterbacking in this game at this point. But yeah, to your point, I think a high scoring game does not bode well for Seattle.
No, and then there's also like the ball control aspect of it. So, you're playing a team that has arguably the best receiver right now in Nakua. You have some veterans. You have a veteran there. You have the veteran quarterback. You have a young receiver slash tight end who's really good. So they have some really talented players offensively. The worst thing that you can do if you're a defender for Seattle is let them have the ball control and time of possession,
Yeah.
right? So Seattle has to run the ball, run down the clock, really own that time of possession to where every single time the Rams touch the football, they have to try and come out with some points. If you can
Yeah.
get to a situation where they don't have a lot of plays and it gets them desperate in the second half, you might be able to steal a few possessions with an interception, because then you start to get desperate. Your game plan starts to go out the door when you can't just stick to your script and how you like to play the game.
Yeah, I think everything is script in this situation. I think that's a great point. I think on the other side of it, the Rams are going to want to have that security blanket of running the football on the road, and they've been pretty good running the football with Kyron Williams. This is an experienced offensive line. They've been there before. Sean's gonna. I thought he got away from it last week a little bit in the Chicago game at times, but it kind of ended
Yeah.
up being a big part of their win. Um, I think Eamon Wari is a big key in this game. Having the Rams who play 2-3 tight ends as much as anybody, especially 13 personnel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like instead of getting heavy, you got this big fucking nickel hybrid guy, safety who can just play in the box. Like that's a huge plus to
Yeah.
have a guy like that. And I think on the other side of things, the one thing I wanted to shout out was Seattle does a great job with the receivers blocking. We talked about Kenneth Walker
Mm-hmm.
and his kind of bounce habit. everything that they do that's designed perimeter run is going to come down to Barner and the tight ends blocking Verse and Young and those guys. It's going to be like Cooper Kupp getting at times landman blocked and that sort of thing, or
Yep.
corners, JSN blocking his ass off. It is really, this game is as much about the run game for both sides
Yep.
as people might not want to believe that, but I do think it is more about the physicality in the run game. And for the Rams, it's no exception.
And when you talk about receivers that can block, I think back to that 2015 AFC Championship in Denver, and rest in peace to Demarius Thomas, but they were like just blocking the hell out of our corners, and
Yeah.
they were getting after us to where, when you're a DB and you have force, say it's cover two, and you have force, and you're the cloud corner, and you have a receiver coming off the ball, and you have to play that, hey, is he going out for a pass or is he stalk blocking me? And they're mauling you up, and then the ball's getting into the secondary, and they're getting 10 yards a pop. Like, it screws you up, because then you start pulling those play action passes, your feet are kind of stuck in the mud, and you're wondering, like, hey, do I really have to be firm here and try and like
Right.
set this edge and be present in the run? Or I got to get myself back in my zone, and I really got to read the quarterback. So the running game is really such a big factor in your play action ability, and pulling up your linebackers into the line of scrimmage. It really affects that whole passing game and like the intermediate routes. And that's why Tom was so good. Like, Tom wasn't known for like, hey, I'm gonna throw the ball 50 yards downfield and throw these bombs. It was dink and dunk, setting up the run, play action,
Yeah.
10-yard, 15-yard in cut, like all these little things that are super annoying, because as a defender, you're like, damn, how did this turn into a 10 to 15 play drive? And
Yeah.
how are they already in field goal position? And you're gassed,
It's
So
demoralizing. Third
it
down,
is,
3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, like, quick game, that sort of thing. So, and I think to the passing attack, I think the big key is this: keep Matt Stafford clean for the Rams. Okay.
mm-hmm,
The pressure has gotten to him in this matchup at times. But especially in the first game, I felt like, the front kind of got after him. I think what you're going to see is a ton of play action, a ton of move in the pocket, and to keep the opportunities low. Like, if we were going to play and we were on a great defensive line, we might think, hey, we're going to get a bunch of drop back opportunities. But how many true drop back opportunities do you get? Like, people say, oh, well, Matt Stafford threw the ball 35 times or something like that. I'm using an example. And we
yeah,
might get 10 real true drop back opportunities where it's not either quick game, screen, play action, move the pocket. So you got to be really good transitioning to play action for Seattle up front, which I think they'll be good on. And for the Rams, you have to be good selling play action and moving Matt
yeah,
Stafford, keeping him safe. And on the other side, Shula, man, you saw, was it Kobe Turner picked Sam Darnold off down backed up, I think it was. And at that point, the game turns into 30-14, just to show you how
yeah,
bad it was. If you want to get in a shootout with these guys, like, I advise against it. But the whole thing is the sim pressures. The dude's dropping from a 3 technique or a 5, and Sam, when he's pressed, has to avoid the oh shit throw where you're just like, oh, why did I do that? And you know it right
yeah,
as you throw it. I feel like that's kind of, he gets pressing sometimes and can
mm-hmm,
speed himself up in the middle of the field like that. To me, if he can avoid that stuff and then get him
yeah.
easy completions off of rollouts outside the numbers, screen game, that sort of thing, I think they'll be fine, man. But I think it comes down to those two things.
I agree. We're on the same page. WDEs.
WDs. Hey, that's gonna be it. There's only 2 football games. This is getting to be a pretty sad time of year where we're almost out of football games to talk about. But thank you, Rob, for joining the show. We hope to have you back again soon, dude. Are you coming to San Francisco? You're not coming to San Francisco, are you?
If I can make some coin, I will.
All right. Anybody out there that wants to pay Rob, not
If the
for
Patriots are the ones playing in it, I probably will try to make it out there for 3 days.
Ooh. All right, we gotta come by the
If the
Airbnb.
Patriots are not, I am definitely keeping my ass home. So
Well, I
bingo.
hope to see you either way, buddy. Thanks for
All
coming on
right.
the show.
All right. Well, hey, get your shovel ready. I hear you guys are in store for a big storm.
Yeah, it
It's like
just got downgraded though to we were supposed to get like 2 feet, and now we're only getting 8 inches.
oh, that's fine.